So when I saw that Adidas was dropping the Harden Volume 9s over in China first for the Year of the Snake colorway, I was like, man, I have to get those. But I wonder how.
Special delivery!
Well, that's one way to get them. Like I'm in a daily shows. So without further ado, guys, let's kind of just get right into the shoe and the sneaker itself. So these are the Adidas Harden Volume 9s. James Harden's 9th signature shoe with Adidas. And honestly, it's one of the main shoe lines that Adidas has had that I feel like you genuinely see a true progression with how each model slowly builds upon the last one. Whether you're looking at something like the Harden Volume 7s, you can clearly see the design language that went from this to this, that then also transformed into what we have here. And so it's really cool when you see how that design language just kind of continues throughout the shoe line, some of that's connective tissue that connects each model to one another. And this model is like no different. You know, when you look at this from a silhouette standpoint, if you didn't have like this difference with the upper, and you just kind of did again, just silhouette wise, it wouldn't be hard to mistake this for the 8s and potentially even like the 7s. But that's something that I have found that I usually don't actually like, but with the Harden line, I've always kind of been fond of it. It's something that I think I've kind of found to be annoying in some of the earlier parts of the line. I think like with the, it was the 5s and the 6s, I wasn't a huge fan of that. But from the 7s to the 8s and now the 9s, I've really loved this continual progression with the line and how the shoes look. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever actually owned a pair of 5s because I have, or 5s or 6s. I know I have a pair of the 4s, and because that's when I actually got this hoodie, but I don't think I've ever actually owned any of the other models in between the 4s and the 7s. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about the 9s. And when it comes to this colorway and this model, I just think it's really dope, and it really does show this real mixing of the brand with trying to have this real premium, fashion forward model, but also have a high performing basketball shoe as well too. And I think that this shoe honestly probably is going to perform pretty well. One of the big things like I'm noticing on here is just the traction. The traction setup on here, it's very similar to what you've had on the past Hardens. When you look at like the 8s and the outsole on there, for example, like these are very similar traction patterns. But the one thing that you'll see that's kind of different is there's not as much exposed boost here in the heel, as in there's no exposed boost here in the heel, and those 3 stripes kind of carry further along, which of course I always think as being like the D Rose effect on a pair of shoes, and that history with Adidas and the brand. But this traction pattern, it's radial, nature, and having like your pivot points, which to me is a callback to like with any basketball shoe, it's really good to have, but it always makes me mainly think of like the original Crazy Lights. You can see that there's boost here as well too. When you look online, it talks about the fact that this shoe has a mixture of I believe light boost and also light strike. And so like light strike of course is the EVA foam that Adidas has, that's like a little, it has a different, base and setup versus like a regular EVA. And then Light Boost is, their lighter version of Boost. I wouldn't say that like, it's hard to tell from like a first wear because, when I think about Light Boost, the only pair of shoes I have Light Boost in, well, I think I have 3 pairs of shoes with Light Boost, and that's the Ultra Boost 5X, the Ultra Boost Lights, or the Ultra Boost 2023s, if you want to look at them like that. Or the other shoe that I also have light boost in is the AE1 Lows. But in there it's more exposed in a couple spots, so maybe you could feel more of the sponginess to it. But it also isn't, it doesn't appear to be full length, I think, in the AE1s. I could be mistaken on that, so if I am, they'll hold me to that. But when it comes to the Hardens, it looks like it's full length boost, because you could see, their X bar in here, that is what you usually see on their boost shoes. But you can see what looks like boost here. You could definitely see boost here in the 2 pivot points. And so like it looks like it runs full length. Maybe the light strike is used in some other areas of the shoe. But again, going off the press release is one thing, going off of feel is another, and I can't really say honestly one way or the other, but what I will say is that they do feel very good. Now when it comes to the sizing and fit for the shoes, all the past Hardens from the 7s to the 8s and now the 9s, I've gone, my true size. So if I wear a 10, get that 10, and I've gone, my size 10 in these, and they fit pretty well. For my first try on, they seem to fit well, and it seems to be a comfortable fit. I don't feel like any slippage issues and things like that. Again, when I go to playing them, I'll actually know. So this colorway being the Year of the Snake colorway, you'll see that this pattern on here gives like, you know, a snake skin type of look to it, which I find to be very, very cool. Like the Year of the Snake colorways, I think have always been dope. You go back to like the Rose 3.5 Year of the Snakes, and I think about that as being one of my favorite colorways of any shoe that I had, along with like the Crazy Light version of it. You have back here on the heel cup, there's, you know, a TPU heel cup back here. It's, you know, encased behind this upper, but then they also have what looks like carbon fiber, but it's not. It's just a design choice to give you this kind of look and feel of carbon fiber. With Harden's logo back here on the heel, which I think is dope. And again, mixing, you know, the player's logo with the 3 stripes. I mean, I live on the D Rose line, so of course I love it here on the Hardens. You know, there is a little touch of some premium material here. There's this little suede that's up here by the toe box, which I think is cool. But everything else on the upper is synthetic. You have this, you know, inner booty, which is what basically keeps, you know, your foot contained and locked in with the lacing structure. This is pretty much the exact same thing we've seen on the 7s and also on the 8s. So if you like that there, you'll like it. If you didn't like that there, that's kind of going to be a hit or miss thing, but again, you know, it's just one of those things. I think one of the cool things is that when you look at the other insole too, you end up seeing that there's like the little snake mixed in with the Adidas basketball logo, and I just think that's dope for the Year of the Snake pair, you know? Yeah, so after you pop it in a few places, you're going to pull it down. So, you know, it says James Harden, August 26, 1989, Los Angeles, California, USA. These shoes, you know, on the box, you'll see too as well, because we haven't even talked about this though yet. It says, you know, Harden Volume 9 was designed in Los Angeles, California. I do love this box, by the way. Like the 3 stripes on here, I think is cool. And I also think it's different that it's kind of set up like this, where you kind of want to stack it like this. This is Harden Volume 9. It has, you know, a pull-out tab on it. You know, the Harden line, what some people don't know is that the Harden line, in terms of like the basketball shoe and the mainline basketball shoe, is really meant to be like the top echelon of Adidas basketball. You know, the AE1s, as much as, you know, that was a sneaker of the year for a lot of people, and myself included, the Harden line is meant to be the cream of the crop. It's meant to be the biggest blend between, you know, fashion and also performance, and so it's kind of positioned itself that way. So I do love that the box is even a little bit different itself too. But we were talking about the insole, so I was able to pull it out, like I said, and this insole is nothing amazing. I will say, you know, my girlfriend for Christmas got me a pair of Sunshine 2s, and I had forgotten that the Sunshine 2s have really bad insoles. I mean, like really, really bad. So what I will say is it's a better insole than the Sunshine 2s, but I mean, it's not much of anything, you know. But again, too, when you talk about like, you know, what's inside the shoe itself in terms of like the midsole, you can see the boost here in the heel part as well. So like, I'm assuming, and just going to assume that this is full-length light boost. There was a part of me that was wondering if it was going to be full-length jet boost, because I really do like that in the A1s, you know, the mids of them, not the lows. So the lows, again, use light boost. But it can't, there's no way this is jet boost, just because if this is boost in here and it's full-length, it's super light. And that's the only thing that you get with light boost. So that is something that's kind of neat and cool. Something else I think is kind of cool as well is like the little like red stitching here on the pull tab, here on the front of the tongue, and here back on the heel. It is an interesting like little design choice. I feel like that's like a little premium thing that I've noticed across like some different brands. I think when I was watching Nightwing's review, he mentioned it reminding him of like the Yeezy 350s, which is a fair point. That does remind me of the first 350s, but it also makes me think of like a lot of the Tiger Woods Sunday Red stuff. There is a little bit like a red stitching in places that's meant to be like a call out to how premium it is. Again, that's not something necessarily that I know much about, but like from what I've heard and seen, I'm just kind of like, oh, cool. So I don't know that's the same thing here, but it is kind of cool. One of the other things I do like about this shoe a lot is I do love how the traction does come up onto the midsole material. That kind of goes to encase your foot, like even like here, this little outrigger piece, I like it there. And same back here on the heel. It just gives an extra little like design look to it that I think is cool. Also too, like just, you know, people really were trashing the 8s in my comment section last year when I reviewed them, and I kind of thought people were dragging it out a little bit. But you know, I do think something cool about the Harden line is that they're all very distinct shoes. And I feel like the 8s, you know, have a really just cool look to them. This, you know, shoe, this like, you know, EVA foam piece that's like, you know, meant here to help contain your foot on the footbed. It's cool looking. Like, I just think it's kind of cool. It's different. It definitely has like a like a futuristic kind of alienish look to it, but I dig that. And same thing here. And like, honestly, you know, originally I was only planning on getting one colorway of these. I was going to get the silver metallic ones because I just thought they looked super dope. It reminds me of like the foam posits because it has that same type of look and aesthetic feel to it. But I also too, it's a very subtle way of also showing your 3 stripes, you know, on the side of the shoe. It's not like a way where you immediately go like, oh, that's an Adidas shoe because you think like the 3 stripes right away per se. But I definitely, you know, see it there, and it's, to me, it's not subtle. Don't get me wrong, it's not a subtle thing, but it feels like a subtle way of showing the branding. Because besides there, you know, you have the 3 stripes on the heel, which are very clearly the Adidas 3 stripes and the Harden logo. But the Adidas logo is up here on the toe box, the performance logo, but that's it. You know, like you don't see the Adidas logo anywhere else. The 3 stripes do, of course, continue onto the outsole. But like, yeah, it's just something that I do find to be very cool. I just think something interesting about this shoe. And it just kind of gives, like, again, a tough look. Like, I just think these are really cool, and I just, you know, I don't know, they just seem like a really interesting looking shoe. Now, though, with all that being said, again, before we end the review, people are going to ask me, you know, what am I thinking they're going to do performance-wise? I never did performance review on the Harden Volume 8s, and that's because I did not like the Harden Volume 8s. Now, I know I said I think this is going to perform well, and people might be like, well, wait, if you think it's going to perform well, but you said they're basically very similar and like an incremental difference to the Volume 8s, and the Volume 8s were an incremental, you know, change to the 7s, like, how could you not like the 8s? And truly, I don't know what it is. Like, I tried playing in the 8s actually last week when I was hooping with some friends, and it's something with just the right shoe and my right foot. Whenever I wear the 8s, there is like this cramp that I get and this pain I get through the bottom of my foot that I just cannot get to go away. Don't know what that's from, don't know why that's the case. I don't know if it's the way I'm lacing them up. I've tried lacing them up different ways, having it not be as tight, you know, but I still want that lockdown, that secure fit. But I just haven't really been able to find a good mesh for it. And my left foot, no issues. Like, I can run the floor, I can you know, still, you know, do any, like, you know, the dribble moves or drives and like feel safe and secure and not feel any pain in my foot. But my right foot, I always feel pain in whenever I wear them. And so, like, there's a part of me that really thinks there's something wrong with the shoe itself. I think like there has to be something wrong with my right shoe. Again, I never really dug more into it because I kind of just like, you know, I'm not really going to spend the money on buying another pair. I can't really afford to buy another pair. You know, I've got my Rose collection, X, Y, and Z. But I did just notice that. And again, when I tried playing them, it still was a thing. Now, when I wore them casually, they were fine. Like, I wore them to go hang out with some friends the other day, and I wasn't doing a whole bunch of walking in them, but like it wasn't uncomfortable, and you know, I didn't feel like bothered by the shoe at all. Some people I know had issues with the shoe in terms of that EVA upper like bothering them, but that's not something I experienced. At least on my left foot. I don't know that was causing the pain on my right foot, but again, it was just weird. But I think that these might feel a little bit different, and it mainly comes back into how I feel like this heel piece is constructed. Again, they're very similar, and this goes, the same thing can be said about, you know, the 7s. All these heels are very, very similar. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference between them, but I think in the way you kind of sit in the footbed is just ever so slightly different, and I didn't have issues with the 7s. The 7s I liked a lot to play in. I have these, and I have the pink colorway of them, and I do really like those. I also really like wearing them casually. And so the 9s to me feel like they might be more similar to the 7s. And so we'll see. Worst case, I don't like playing in them. I got a dope casual shoe. Best case, I like playing them. I have a cool shoe to hoop in again, you know, besides like the 81s or, you know, one of the Rose shoes I'll rotate back through. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Harden Volume 9s down in the comment section. You know, do you like the way the 9s are looking? Do you have a certain colorway that you want to get? You know, what is your guys' thoughts about this shoe overall so far? If you are interested in getting this colorway and you want to know where I actually got them from, I got these from ID4 Shoes on eBay. The problem is, if you were to try to go and buy the same colorway right now, they only have a size 8 and 9 available. They're sold out of every other colorway, and I mean, they sold out quick. I remember before I even saw their Instagram post, I just happened to search eBay for the Harden Volume 9s, and there was 2 people selling them at ID4 Shoes and another page, and you know, ID4 Shoes, very trusted. The thing that's crazy to me is that, you know, they're shipping these from overseas, and I bought them on Friday, and I got them here on Monday about maybe 2 o'clock, and I bought them on Friday like later in the evening. So it just is one of those like crazy, or no, it was maybe Thursday night, late in the evening. So might as well been like Friday. So it's just one of those like crazy things, you know, that like they are able to ship this here and get this here super quick to me. And I didn't really pay, I felt like an exorbitant price to get them. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. You know, so like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in to another one of my reviews. And I'll see you guys around later. Also, side note, have you seen the stuff that D-Rose been posting this week? It's about to be an exciting week, and I got some stuff in store for you guys with that too, going towards the end of this week and into next week as well. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace. I'll catch you around later. Bye. If you guys want to see my thoughts of what I'm thinking about all these shoes as I'm going to play in them and get some opportunities, make sure to go follow me on Instagram at AdamMVPTurner to see some more of my thoughts there.